Good morning everybody. So today the topic is garden warriors.
Wow.
So we are going to be covering what you do when you are working in the garden, how you handle your aches and pains and so forth. So it's called horticulture injuries. The injuries you sustain in the garden, there are various types and we will cover them. Okay, so firstly, you need to have garden fitness. Now, garden fitness is basically just preparing for when you go and work in the garden. So just like when you are going to run a race or do sporting activities, you need to do stretches and all those things. You need to do the same before going to work in your garden, okay? Because it's a lot of bending and weird positions that you are going to be doing and repetitive movements and so forth. So you need to actually stretch your muscles, you know, all kinds of stretching, arms, legs, everything you can think of. Try and do proper stretching to warm your muscles up so that you don't have to injure yourself. Okay, so the first thing is back pain. That is one of the biggest problems that most people have because it's a lot of bending, it's a lot of lifting up, it's a lot of, you know, that type of movements which affect your back. Okay, so to help prevent that, you need to try lifting with your legs. So normally we do this and we lift it up like that, but you need to spread your legs and actually go down and try and lift something up. You also mustn't turn. You need to turn with your body. Okay, don't turn your arms or whatever. Turn your whole body when you are moving something heavy. And you need to start slowly. Don't do jerky movements. Okay, do slow, fluid movements. And you need to keep the object close to your body. So don't keep it there. Keep it as close as possible because that fights or helps the resistance that there is. So the further the distance. So for example, if you are holding a glass of water, you will notice the closer you keep it to your body, the less it will spill. But the further, you know, it's the whole physical laws of attraction, all of that. The further you keep it away, the more it will shake and spill and whatever. So whatever you are doing, try to hold it as close to your body as possible. That will also prevent or help the object, help you not hurt yourself too much, because then it won't put so much strain on your body as well. Preferably use a dolly or a wheelbarrow. Do you know what a dolly is? It's like a flat thing with little carousel wheels on it. Okay, you'll see that a lot in the shops, the industry, lots of warehouses. So it's just this thing, and they put boxes on there and they move the boxes and so forth. And wheelbarrow. If you don't have, just try and use something that has wheels just to help alleviate the stress and the strain from your body onto the thing that you are using to carry and move the thing with. So now your fingers and toes, we don't always take notice of how we can get injured until we actually get injured. So what is important is protective gear. Okay, because your fingers, you need to keep it out of harm's way from, like, don't keep it where something can knock it or fall against it or hit it or anything like that. Try and be cognizant of how you handle things so that your fingers are not in the way when things fall or when there are sharp objects like broken twigs or something like that. Also, always wear gloves if possible, you know, to protect, because a lot of the time while you're working you get cuts and scrapes and stabs and things, and you don't even realize you are, because you're so busy working that you don't realize you are damaged, and sometimes it can be really bad and detrimental to you. So preferably wear your gloves. Keep your hands away from sharp tools and objects that you also use. Like if, okay, probably you won't be using Yeah, those sores and things, preferably. But if you do, be very careful and keep your fingers away from those sharp objects. If you're cutting whatever, even the scissors, garden scissors, those long shears and so forth. Be very careful with how you handle it and keep your fingers away from the edges. And then the foot care. You need to, if you can't get safety boots, try to get working boots, because some of it has those steel toes inside. So because things fall, and if it falls on your foot, depending on how heavy it is, it could crush your toes. You know, anything can happen, and you don't realize just how dangerous gardening can actually be. You know, I mean, even if you're just picking up bricks to pack it or move it, if it falls on your foot, you can break a bone, you can break a toe. You know, these things are very dangerous. It can split your foot open, like cut and sever if it falls on the side of on the sharp edge of the brick. So these things happen. So you need to always be prepared. Always wear shoes that is, if you don't have boots or whatever, wear old shoes that covers as much of your foot as possible. Preferably also your ankle, because you can twist your ankle as well. Now, one of the problems that we get when we are working in the garden is if we don't wear the right shoes and we don't move in the right way, we can actually get plantar fasciitis. And that is where you tear a ligament. And this comes from various different things, like Cynthia would know. I had plantar fasciitis, and it is extremely painful. Like, you can't get up and walk. You need, because it's tremendously painful, and walking is an issue. But if you sit down, you feel fine. But as soon as you get up, it's like excruciating pain, like you won't believe. And ligaments don't actually, depending on how it's torn, they don't really grow back. So you need to either get an operation or something. But if it's just torn or ripped slightly or severed or sprained or something, it is reversible, and there are certain things that you can use to manage plantar fasciitis through different exercises, wearing shoes with insoles, using dumbbells or 500 ml bottles with water, with ice in it. And then the side where it curves like that, with the curve you rub your foot over. Okay, so then it induces circulation as well. So you know the whole circulation concept, to get the blood to the area so that healing can take place. So you need to also learn to prevent certain things that could be detrimental to your health. Because most people don't think about that, but actually it is a thing. Spraining your ankle is also very possible. So that is why it's important to try to wear boots that cover your ankle, at least if you can't get, worker boots or whatever the case may be, because it protects your ankle as well. Because you might just twist your ankle by walking on a stone or just moving too quickly, or anything can happen in a ditch, or sometimes the soil and sand will give way, and then your foot buckles, and then you sprain your ankle, and you can even break your ankle. So these little things are dangerous, and you might think that working in the garden is child's play, it's fine, but you can actually really damage yourself if you don't take the proper precautions. Okay, and then you need to try to work with, when you work with ladders, they must be sturdy. You need to check out the equipment that you are using before you use it, because if you're on there and the thing is not sturdy, you can actually break your neck. I mean, yes, you can break your arm.
I know of my sister-in-law's sister. She was climbing on the ladder, and then she fell, and she broke both her legs. Well, both of the things broke. Yeah. She was in hospital, and at the moment there was nobody at the home, because her daughter's a policewoman, and somebody, I think one of the neighbors who passed, saw her lying there, phone the sister in Strandfontein to come and help her.
Wow,
It
that's
was really
beautiful.
traumatic. And also on the other one that you said about the toes, ne? My husband's cousin in Johannesburg was walking in the main road and one of those corrugated things fell from the building in the shop and took 3 of her toes off. That child is still not married today because she's traumatized. She don't even wear open sandals or nothing. 3 tone af van, nie skiffel jy, sinkplaat van die building afgeval. Al 3 tone van haar af.
Ja,
They compensated.
They compensated, maar sy complained toe met die ma en die pa wat opgeëet het en die ma en pa is nog dood en sy. But I mean she was living with the grandmother and the mother and father was on the other side. Sorry. Of the record, sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so basically you need to try and do things starting off slowly. So manage little projects at a time. Don't start with a big thing all at once. Try and ease into it and work little by little and take breaks. Taking breaks is very important because you don't want to overexert yourself as well.
like the trenches that you must do now.
Yes.
Take your time.
Yes, take your time. Might take very long, but take your time.
And they must put sun edge on because the sun is not going
Yes.
Yes.
When the heat comes, then you can't.
Yes, too hot. Too hot. Yes.
But remember, drink water with
Yeah.
Himalayan salt. It will really
Here
give
we
you
go,
energy to
Himalayan
do the
water.
job.
No, I drink it, but I don't have the, when the heat comes up, I can't drink. I stay out of the sun.
And then you need to, the tools that you are going to use when gardening, keep them out of the way because you might trip on it and that might also cause injuries. Because what happens a lot is people tramp on shovels and stuff and then it can actually,
Yes.
it can
Yeah,
break your
yeah.
nose, it can give you a
Especially-
concussion. Strange things happen. So just be careful about your surroundings and keep things out of the way. Work on with a logical system, okay? When you are gardening, and try and get ergonomical tools. So like a shovel with a swivel handle instead of just a normal, because then you don't have to twist your whole hand. You can just make slight movements and the tool will do the work that it needs to. So preferably, and if the handles are soft as well, so it won't cause blisters and that type of thing. So then just try and get ergonomical tools. Ergonomics just basically means your tools and your chairs and whatever it is that you use when you are working is designed to make the environment and the positioning of your body favorable so that you don't hurt yourself. In a nutshell, that's basically what ergonomical tools are. Okay, so now your eyes, you need to protect your eyes because if foreign objects go in your eyes, that can be detrimental. Splinters, pieces of bark, pieces of leaf, you know, anything can just shoot and go in your eyes and it can blind you depending on how it goes in. So you need to protect your eyes.
Because the mulch, when the wind blew, it blew into my face, I couldn't hear it.
Was it ook in the wind? I need
Wind was
different
baie sterk,
Ja, ek het dit al
ja. So that stuff blew while I watered the garden. Ek dink nou, waar is die goed eraan nou? En ek was
So if something does get in your eye, what you do is you need to irrigate it with salt water, with saline solution. So you just put a bit of Himalayan salt in water, and like Natasha always says, you get a little 500 ml of something and you make a hole in the top, and then you work from the inside out. So you, if it's in this eye, you will pour and then let it drain and irrigate your eye out.
Okay.
Because this is, your eye works from the inside out. Okay, so you will see most tears start on the inside and they go out. So that, and when your eye blinks, the cascading movements will push it out, either to the center, but most times it pushes it to the side because that is the body's way of getting rid of things. So always try and irrigate from the inside out. Anything that you actually get in your eye. If you are scared of something, irrigate it with salt water and you're not sure what it is, because it could be toxic and poisonous, and it could blind you also, because you don't know what got into your eye. Especially if you're working with chemicals. We are trying not to, but sometimes we do. So if you're working with chemicals, even the smallest bit can get in your eye, you know, a splash or something. The wind blowing, blows water, you know, anything can happen. So just try and always keep a little bottle water with salt in, a saline solution, and then irrigate the eye. You can also use the saline solution if you get a cut or something, just to cleanse the wound. Okay, so then chafing. Chafing is when body parts rub together. So this normally happens to bigger people, those that are more fuller figured, those that have big breasts or big butts or thighs or something. So when you're moving a lot, this friction is called chafing. And chafing can actually cause serious infections if you don't treat it properly. So the skin rubbing against each other can not only damage the blood vessels and so forth, but it can make it raw. And you need to keep areas where chafing can occur dry. So put powder or cornstarch. Cornstarch is actually better than powder.
Say so, Mazina.
Yeah, because there's no chemicals in there, and it's finer and it's organic. I mean, it's healthier and so forth. So put that like under the breast, under the arms, between the legs, under your belly, wherever you think chafing can happen. Because when you're in the motion, you don't realize it, but afterwards you will feel, I'm sore, I can't walk for a week, you know, something like that. So then you need to put powder or cornstarch under those areas and try and always keep it dry, so that the friction won't happen, because friction mainly happens when the moisture is there. And also when it's dry, then it can slide past each other, then it doesn't have to be abrasive. Okay, and then if you do get chafing, put lavender oil on, tea tree oil, and you can make a mixture of aloe and honey, okay, in a little coconut oil, and you put that on. That is to help prevent an infection from occurring, because if an infection occurs, it can actually become very serious, because the bacteria that grows in a moist infection is actually very, very bad. Okay, so you can get very sick and land up in hospital from an infection just from chafing. So always put cornstarch or powder on before and after. And sometimes during, if you feel that you're chafing or whatever, go put some powder on, because prevention is better than cure. Okay, then splinters. Everyone always, most times, experiences this. So once again, protection gear is very important. Try and wear gloves where you can, as much as possible. But then when you do get splinters, what is best to use is a bicarbonate of soda paste. So you will add a little water to the bicarbonate, you will put it on the splinter area and cover it with a plaster or something. This will then draw the splinter out. If you don't, or you can put bicarbonate water, warm water, and soak your finger in there. It will also draw the splinter out. So if you don't have bicarb, or you don't want to do that, then you can see the splinter. Try and get sharp tweezers to pull it out. Okay, and then you can use onion, potato, flaxseed, plantain, and or honey. All of those will have drawing effects, so they will draw the splinter out. They will also cause a lot of moisture to happen in the area, which will also soften the area so that the splinter can then also be pressed out or something like that. Okay, so then signs of infection. Signs of infection is when you see redness, swelling, tenderness. Those are signs of infection, and your nodes will also swell depending on the area. So if you have an infection in your hand, the lymph nodes of that area will swell. So your underarms will probably swell. If the infection is here due to whatever happened, then these will swell. If it's in your leg, then it will be in the groin area. So wherever the area is, check those lymph nodes. It will swell and be sore and tender. That will indicate that there is infection in the area. Because sometimes we don't know what we did or that we hurt ourselves, but then we feel something's not right. Like while we're walking, maybe the groin lymph node is sore. That's an indication there's something wrong in the area. Go and check where it is, you know. So then when that happens, try and take garlic 3 times a day. As you know, garlic is a very strong antibiotic. It's 6 times stronger than tetracycline, which is your normal antibiotic that you get. Also, antibiotics like tetracycline and amoxicillin, they damage the gut flora, which isn't good and causes all other kinds of problems. So when you take garlic, it is stronger than that. It also doesn't cause bug or drug resistant bacteria. So then you can consume as much garlic as possible. It will work every time, because the problem with antibiotics is if you use it now, your body can become resistant. And then next time you use it, it won't be as effective. Then you'll need to use something stronger and so forth. So it's just like a ripple effect all the time. So try to stick to the natural things. It might take longer, but it will work better for your body in the long run. Okay, you can also use an apple cider vinegar solution, and you can sip on this throughout the day. So if you have a glass, just fill the bottom, the base of the glass. It needs to, the solution needs to be according to the size of the glass. So different glasses or different sizes, example. So then you just cover the base slightly, and then you add water, because anything stronger can actually, because it's basically vinegar you are drinking, it can hurt your throat. So you need to be careful with your dilution. So not too strong, because you can cause injury to your throat. And yet apple cider vinegar can also soothe your vocal cords. So drink apple cider vinegar throughout the day. If you feel lymph nodes are swollen, something's happening, but you don't know where, for example, then just drink that. If you don't want to do the garlic, because garlic is potent, does burn the tongue, is very strong. So there are options. So as we know, with God's wonderful medication that He gave us through plants and herbs and so forth, there are various things that treat the same thing, and everybody is not the same. So what works for you might not work for me. So that is why you can try different options. Okay, now allergy problems. As you know, when you work in the garden, you can get a lot of allergies because the dust and the sand and the whatever it is you're working with, you know, can really affect you. And it can cause sinus issues, it can cause rashes, it can even cause Lyme disease. So watching how you monitor your allergy infections are very important. We'll get to that later. So now you need to always remember that you need to dress appropriately, and you need to dress to protect yourself for when working in the garden. So you need to, and depending on the weather, you also need to dress accordingly. If you are working in the garden in winter, keep warm, because you can actually get frostbite because you're working with water.
Mm.
So water in winter, very cold. If you work with it too long, you can actually get frostbite if you're not careful enough, depending on what the temperatures are. If you are working in summer, you need to dress loosely. Try and wear something that can cover you to protect you from the sun, like maybe something, I don't know, long but very loose, so that the air can flow. And the more natural the fibers, the better. So cotton works, or linen works really well when working in the garden. And also when you wear loose stuff in the garden, it allows the breeze to play through, so that it also helps with cooling you down. It also helps with chafing and other things. So aeration is very important when working in the garden also, because you can get heat stroke. Okay, so if you have repetitive injuries which will come from moving, so chafing is one of them, but repetitive injuries can cause a lot of serious things like carpal tunnel syndrome. And that is basically when you damage the nerves from doing a repetitive movement. So for example, if you are spading with a small shovel, and you have to do a whole trench. You know, the repetitive movements after a while can actually cause carpal tunnel syndrome, which is a serious thing.
Sorry, on that note,
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Now my daughter is complaining about that. She's working like this time of the year. They have big thingy with the fishery industry. Now she's complaining about this, whatever, and I saw a whole knoppie, whatever you call it. And she's complaining she can't sleep, it's paining, it's painful and whatever, but okay, it's peak time now for the work, so she can't stand up. But what I wanted to ask you, is that the same?
It manifests in different ways, but it mainly happens in the wrist, because you use your wrist for everything, but it depends on what it is you are doing. Also when you type a lot, if you are not ergonomically set up in your office and your chair is not right and the position of your computer is not right, you can also get carpal tunnel syndrome.
And with the hairdressers, no,
That is it. Yes, repetitive movements. So then, and seamstresses also. So your wrist can get very, So when you feel the pain, stop and rest. Stop and rest as often as possible. This helps to not only alleviate the pain, but it also helps prevent further damage. Because it's the repetitive, continuous movements that makes the situation worse, basically. Okay? You mustn't overexert yourself. If you see this is too much, rest, stop, take a break, and maybe do something else that won't require your hand, if that is what you are doing, you know, like, or use your other hand, or just do something else to break the cycle.
So now that is your work,
Okay, so then you would need to obviously use poultices. If it's your wrist, then you would use poultices. If it's the tissues that is causing the pain, because you need to see what is causing the pain. If you do this or move, is it your muscles that are sore, or is it your joints that are sore? What part is it? That will help you see what type of poultice you should use. So if it is in the joint, what do we use? Ginger, joint for ginger, yes. So you would put a ginger poultice on. If it is in the tissues, what do you use?
Potato.
Oh, such perfect student. So yes, the potato will then draw out the inflammation in the tissues. And if it is the joint, you can also, it will draw the inflammation out of the joint, and then you use potato afterwards for soothing and drawing it out of the skin, because it draws it from the joints into the skin, into the tissue. So those are things you can also use. You can do those techniques, those hydrotherapy techniques we showed. So like the ice massage, you can do that. You can do that little cold compress where you put a small ice cloth over it. Use that also.
Okay.
So use these different methods. Don't just do the poultices or whatever.
Okay.
Use those. If those don't work, then you move on to the poultices. So there are different methods that you can use for these injuries that you get. Another achy knees. So because you are up and down all the time, or you're on your knees all the time, your knees tend to suffer a lot. So one of the biggest things you can use for your knees is cabbage. Wrap your knees in cabbage. So you take cabbage leaves and you bruise it a little to get the microbes out. And then you wrap it around your knee and you put cellophane around that. That really helps a lot. And then again, you can try the other things. You can try the hydrotherapy, the cold compress, you can try the ice, and you can try, depending on where in the knee the pain is, and you can then try the ginger compress as well. Okay. So you can also use salves. You can make a cayenne pepper salve, which will then also induce blood circulation, because as you know, cayenne pepper is an adaptogen. So if you use it on the skin or you ingest it, it regulates the blood. So if you need more blood to the area, because remember with the diabetic feet, to warm the feet, we put cayenne pepper on to bring the blood to the area. So the same thing with the knee. If your knee or any other part is sore, you make a salve where you have a little olive oil and a little coconut oil, and you put cayenne pepper in there, rub it on. That will induce circulation. So it will bring the blood to the area, and where the blood is, there is healing. Because the blood is bringing the nutrients, and it's bringing the oxygen, and it's bringing the antibodies to the area to fight the whatever's causing the pain, and then to replenish and bring new, fresh, healing power to the area. Yes, so that is the whole
So
point.
you said cayenne pepper and coconut oil.
Coconut
oil, cayenne pepper.
And olive oil.
Olive oil.
And you can use that on any area as you made that concoction out.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cast oil.
Castor oil is more to work on issues like if you have lumps, tumors, things in the body that, things like that. Bladder problems, womb problems, indigestion problems, scar tissue problems like scar tissue buildup, things like that that need to be broken down. Then you use castor oil as a compress. And you can also use my ointment that I made, which, as Rachel knows, really works.
Yeah.
Hey Rachel, do you want to say
Yes,
what
I
the
look
experience was?
I put it on the, didn't I put it on
Yeah,
the chat?
Yeah, so she was working in a garden, and what was it, your legs that were sore and your wrists and whatever, and she put it on, and then it really helped. It really helped a lot. Okay, and then you can also drink.
David, it also helped David.
Perfect, wonderful. So glad you
I
guys
also
tried
tried to
it.
one of my friends and he said it helped him also.
You must put it on your knee
I
now.
think wat nou ek weggeleer ek nou weer.
I'll give you some. And have it in my bed.
Oh my God.
And then you can,
But how much
Yes, I
is
can
the
buy.
one?
Yes, I can buy.
yes, and then
That is a sample thing, eh? That you
Yeah.
gave us. So
But
how
you
much
can
is
buy.
that small one?
it's
You
the
buy.
small one on its own is 50 rand.
Yeah,
The
but
combo
I-
is for the small one.
So I keep it by my bed. Because, you know, I rubbed it actually. I said to Cynthia now, both, I think it's carpal tunnel on both my wrists. And I just rub that on, and I just rub it on the fleshy part. And it feels good because it's almost like it heats it up a little.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and I could have that.
Oh, yes. En die waren.
And then don't forget your anti-inflammatory tea also helps. Because yes, you need to try and heal from the outside, but healing from the inside is most important. Okay, because everything works from the inside up. So the anti-inflammatory tea is turmeric, ginger, black pepper, and a little bit of cayenne pepper for the circulation. So remember, turmeric, the curcumin in the turmeric cannot work unless the black pepper is there to activate it.
Ginger.
Okay, so you must always use the two together.
Together, yes, black pepper and turmeric.
Turmeric, ginger, cayenne pepper, black pepper. Okay, that is the anti-inflammatory tea. Okay, so you would use that for all aches and pains. You would use that tea and then the poultices or the ointments, whatever you want to use. And then backache, again, stretching is very important before you start to prevent the backache. And then you would also use what we use for knee aches and so forth, you would use for the backache as well. What also works is charcoal. Charcoal also helps with pain. So if you have backache, you can also make a charcoal poultice. So it's the same process. You have your cloth or your sanitary towel or whatever, and you make a paste of charcoal, add a little water with the charcoal and maybe some linseed to make it a bit more user friendly, and you put it on the poultice and you wrap it on the area where you're sore. It will draw out if there is whatever the bacteria is that is causing the pain, because pain doesn't, something causes the pain. Okay, so whatever's causing the pain, the charcoal can absorb it. Okay, because charcoal absorbs bacteria and all sorts of things, and it also helps with the pain. You can do the hydrotherapy as well. Always try and see or think, what of the things that I learned can be used? Will it be the cold compress? Will it be the ice pack? Will it be whatever, the hot and the cold foot baths, you know? What will work best for the situation that I'm in? And then which poultice or salve or whatever will work best. So use these tools that you have as knowledge to help yourself heal. You can also do an Epsom salt foot bath or bath soak, where you throw Epsom salts in the water. This will also help with the back pain and whatever other pain if you lay in the water with Epsom salt, because it not only remineralizes, it also helps with muscle pain as well. Okay, so now the different things that you get that can cause problems, like ticks. We don't hear a lot about ticks, but they are actually there, and in America the ticks are very prevalent. Here they are not that prevalent, but our animals carry them. And ticks can cause serious disease depending on what type of tick it is. But one of the serious things is Lyme disease, which is a very serious disease. So you need to just be careful, because you don't know what type of tick your animal has on them. And if the tick bites you, then you get that disease. So you need to be very careful. So one of the ways that you can help with ticks is the clothing that you wear. You need to wear bright colored clothing. Okay, so you can firstly see if there's a tick on you, because they are dark. Then secondly, you need to tuck everything in. Okay, so if you have a long pants, it needs to be wide so that the air can flow through, but you need to tuck it into your socks so that there isn't a way for to climb in, because they come in and then they move up. Okay, because ticks are attracted to carbon dioxide. So especially people that are sick, people that have long-term like diabetes or whatever the case may be, their carbon dioxide is more intense than a healthy person, because their levels in their body is not good. So the ticks are attracted to that type of thing. So if you know you have an ailment, be very careful when working in the garden, because the tick will go to you more than it will go to a healthier person. Okay, because the more carbon dioxide they smell, the more they will go towards that. So another way to alleviate that is to rub some plants. So you take some plant leaves or flowers and you crush it and you rub it on to disguise the scent. Okay, so that they don't smell you and your breathing, they smell just the flowers or whatever, so then they won't come towards you.
It's like one of the Rastas said, if they go in the mountain, they put a certain flower in their bag which keep the snakes away.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are lessons, these are small things that you need to know that could save your life. Okay, so then the same with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes are also attracted to carbon dioxide. Like my, okay, I'll leave that. No man, it's like my sister, for example, she is sometimes sickly, and the like in summer when we were younger, because she would always have like these skin things and she'd always have. They would go to her and they wouldn't like. Not that I was healthy, but I mean.
Sweeter blood.
Yeah, her blood was sweeter. So they would always go to her, and she's like, why do they always go to me? And I'm like, now my blood is bitter. But actually, when you find out, it has to do with what is happening in your body at the time. Because you might not be unhealthy, but there might be a problem, like an infection or some sort of issue that you're having, and it comes out in your carbon dioxide.
Okay.
It's just like when they take your blood, they can see what problem is in your blood. It's the same thing. For your hair, they can see what analysis, what is the problem. So it's like that. What you breathe out will indicate what issues, if any, are there.
I just want to share something. One of my ex-colleagues, after we retired, we were out of touch with the work, the colleagues and so on. And then I got a message, somebody died, somebody that I know. And then I asked what was so sick or whatever. Anyway, then they said no, Owen went on a hike and a spider bit him and he died after just retiring. So that was for me funny because I mean you hike and you just take things for granted and here this certain person died of a spider bite.
Yeah, in such a situation, because you're in the mountain, you can't must now do anything about it until you get home to get medical attention, whatever. So these small little life skills are important to know because you could save, his life could have been saved if somebody knew what to do. Like if you just carry a little charcoal with you, if you just put charcoal on the bite, it would absorb all the poison, you know? So there's things that you need to learn to really save a life when you least expect it.
So the mosquitoes always bit me on the arm, my hand, or even when I lay down the arm of my bed, there was always a small mosquito biting me. But I always used to ask my husband, why don't the mosquito bite you? I said, man, no, it's bitter.
But you
So
know
now I understand because I didn't believe him. I thought, hey man, I like so I slept with the doom, you know.
No, I just wanted to
And then I bought that stuff that you just wipe on. Yes, so it can't bite.
but a friend of mine said the camphor, what he do, no? He put it on the door. On the wooden thing. He buy the small camphor blocks and he put it everywhere. But the camphor smell, even I put on my kids a camphor as a repellent for even if I go away, I take a camphor with a
But you must don't want to smell like camphor in some of it. That's true. What they also use is Vicks.
Yeah.
Because once it has stung you, that the Vicks takes away the sting.
The redness and so forth. So, but I used to read at night. So that attracted the mosquitoes.
I like it.
That's what came to me. Because because they come through the bathroom windows. Because my bathroom window don't close properly and we leave it open for the bath
And
and
also
shower.
you have diabetes.
And I got diabetes.
So when a diabetic exhales, the carbon dioxide is you can detect certain smells at night like iron and so forth, because that will indicate what the problems are. So that is also one of those things. Okay, and then bees. So what you can do, yeah, what you can do is you can make a little mixture of lavender, lemongrass, citronella, and witch hazel. Okay, just use the essential oils if you don't have the plant. You make a little mixture and you spray it either on your skin or into the area, because that wards off mosquitoes as well. So that's a natural insect repellent. Lavender, lemongrass, citronella, and witch hazel.
Actually, what is it? Come from a plant.
Yes, it's a plant. So I don't know if you saw those torches, those citronella torches that they
Yes,
really use
I
like on Barbie nights and going camping and whatever. The citronella wards off
The flies and everything.
the flies.
Yes, I have the
and
oil
mosquitoes and-
with the torches, but I mean, what is it?
It's a plant, yes.
The plant, yeah.
Like lavender, it's a plant. But it's got specific insect repellent active ingredients in it. Okay, and then you can also plant rosemary, mint, and basil. Those are, or keep those plants in your house or in your room, especially if the mosquitoes do come to you a lot. Get those plants because they are also natural insect repellent.
So can I even take off the leaves and put it in the house because there's mosquitoes, because there's a running drain running in that water and standing water. It's attracting, yeah.
But just remember, once you have broken the leaf
Yeah,
off
I've
the
got
plant,
it in
it
the yard,
loses its nutrition.
Yeah.
So it will lose its potency. The longer it is away.
But can you put it like in water and in the house?
Yes, you can.
Because I have a lot of rosemary and mint.
Rosemary and mint, yeah.
Or just boil it.
Okay.
So then when you boil it, the steam
Evaporate.
evaporates, the smell,
Yeah.
you know, that type of thing. Permeates the area and so forth. And then bee stings. So as soon as some people are allergic to bee stings, but a bee sting is always sore no matter who gets it. So as soon as you get a bee sting, if there is plantain in the area, plantain grows like a weed. It's almost everywhere, and it's got amazing healing properties.
What is plantain?
It looks like flat leaves with little stems that come out with little bulges on the top of the long things that come
You
out.
get it, yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
Is it the white one?
No, it's green.
But you must bring us
It looks, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
But it's you won't even realize it. A lot of you might have it on your property. It's like it's like stinging nettles. It grows everywhere.
Wait.
Yeah, it grows everywhere. So yes, you can eat it, but it's got amazing medicinal properties. Okay, and it really heals. It's got amazing healing properties. So for any sting, whether it is mosquito or tick or bee or whatever, crush plantain and put it directly on the sting. It will take the stinging away and the cause that it might result in on the skin.
And the
then
aloes, sorry Cindy, doesn't the aloes also do something?
no, not for bee stings.
Okay. For sun.
Sunburn, yes.
Okay.
Aloe heals the skin, but it won't help with bee
Sunburn.
stings. So then you can also make a charcoal poultice because it will must now draw out the poisons of the bee sting. So you make a charcoal poultice, you can make a comfrey poultice. Comfrey also has amazing healing properties. And then a plantain poultice you can also make. And then what is very important is taking high doses of vitamin C. Okay, because that also helps with the allergies. And I experienced that 2 weeks ago when it started. The wind was going crazy and everybody's allergies were just out of control. I didn't have allergies or anything, and I took vitamin C and it stopped everything immediately. So vitamin C really does help with a lot. It also boosts your immune system, as you know. So it helps with bee stings, with mosquito stings and so forth. So when working in the garden, dose yourself up with vitamin C. And you can't really overdose on vitamin C. It's not one of those where your body will only take what it needs and flush out. No, it will just use everything because it's used for different things in your body. It will make use of everything. And the more you have, the better.
Must you use it on, can you use it on its own? I always thought you needed something else
What
with
do
it,
you mean?
like zinc or something.
No, you can use it on its
Its
own.
own.
But depending on what you're using it for, certain things like zinc does make the potency stronger. But you can use it on your own.
1,000 milligrams a day.
That's the minimum, yes. Recommended dosage.
Zinc tablets.
No, vitamin C.
Oh, vitamin C. I don't like it. I don't know. I had once a vitamin C tablet and it didn't work for me. But zinc. What I did was in the time of COVID, they brought me a vitamin tablet, but mostly zinc in it, and that basically helped me. But I
Yeah,
can't
but
take
zinc is
vitamin
very
C.
important for COVID.
I didn't take vitamin C, but just like a pill.
Nice.
Yeah, the chewies, the gummies, that's nice. But also, I mean, just have your normal
Oranges.
oranges and
yeah,
guavas is
Oh,
very rich in vitamin C. Okay, and then blisters. Blisters, almost everybody gets when you're working in the garden. Don't pop your blister. Okay, that is very important. Don't pop it because that can lead to serious infection. Okay, so don't pop your blister. What you can do is you need to, if you do pop your blister, try and keep it dry and clean. And try and put something on that is like antiseptic or something, or antibacterial, but don't pop it if you don't have to. What you can use for blisters is the skins of onions. You put that on there, and you wrap it, and then you'll see your blister will be gone overnight. So that is an amazing little remedy for blisters. You can use aloe and lavender. Again, anything that has skin healing properties, aloe, lavender, and also comfrey, plantain, and centella. Those herbs are very good for skin healing and any skin problems, from eczema to blisters to cuts to marks to everything. And you can use a charcoal poultice. Charcoal and comfrey work well together when it's that type of thing, because the charcoal will not only help with the infection of the blister, but it will also help with the pain, and the comfrey will heal the skin. And then you can also make a little turmeric paste, turmeric and honey, and you put it on the blister if you don't have any of the other things. And then that's it.
That's it.
And then
Well done. That's very nice for Auntie P. Very